There are people who have suffered from anxiety for years, even decades, and then something unexpected happened. Not overnight magic, not a perfect life, but a shift so powerful that they could finally breathe again. And the surprising part is, many of them point to one simple thing: prayer. But let's be honest, if you've ever dealt with real anxiety, the kind that grips your chest, steals your sleep, and makes your mind race endlessly, you've probably heard phrases like, "just pray more," and felt frustrated. Because if it were that simple, you would already be free. So the real question is not just, does prayer work? The real question is, why does it seem to work for some people while others feel stuck no matter how much they pray? There was a man who openly admitted he had been battling panic attacks for over 30 hours straight. Imagine that, 30 hours of your body stuck in fight or flight mode. Your chest tight, your thoughts spiraling, your body exhausted but unable to rest. He said he felt like he was dying, even though he knew he wasn't. Now here's what's interesting. He didn't say prayer instantly erased everything, but he said something shifted inside him. In the middle of the chaos, he started speaking honestly to God, not perfectly, not with fancy words, but raw and desperate. And slowly, something changed. Not his situation at first, but his awareness. Instead of being consumed by fear, he began to feel not alone. And that's a pattern you'll start to notice. Another story comes from someone who struggled with anxiety and hallucinations. Their world became so overwhelming that even answering a phone call felt terrifying. The kind of fear that doesn't make sense logically, but feels completely real in the moment. They described it as living in a constant state of dread. What changed wasn't just that they started praying more often, it was that they began to lean into something deeper. They started seeking consistently, even when they didn't feel anything. And over time, they described experiencing a peace that didn't make sense. Not because everything in life suddenly became perfect, but because something inside them became steady. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused. Prayer is often treated like a transaction. You ask, God answers. You feel bad, you pray, you feel good. But that's not how it works for most people dealing with anxiety. Anxiety is not just a moment, it's a pattern. It's a loop in the mind and body that feeds itself. So expecting one prayer to instantly erase it can actually make things worse, because when it doesn't happen, you start to feel like you're doing something wrong or that God's ignoring you. But look at another real experience. A woman shared that she had been struggling with addiction, fear, and feeling completely broken. She wasn't asking for small things. She was asking for freedom from things that controlled her daily life. And what stood out was not that everything disappeared overnight, but that she kept showing up. She kept praying even when she felt nothing, even when she doubted, even when she felt like it wasn't working. And eventually, she noticed something subtle but powerful. The intensity of her anxiety began to decrease. The panic didn't control her the same way. She still had struggles, but she also had moments of clarity, moments of peace, moments where she could breathe without fear taking over. So what's really happening here? One of the biggest misconceptions is thinking prayer is only about changing your external situation. But many of these stories point to something deeper. Prayer changes your internal state before it changes anything else. Think about it like this. If your mind is constantly telling you that you're in danger, that something is wrong, that you're not safe, anxiety grows. But when you begin to interrupt that pattern, even slightly, something shifts. Prayer, when it's real and consistent, does exactly that. It pulls your focus away from the loop of fear and places it somewhere else. Not in denial, not ignoring reality, but anchoring yourself in something greater than your thoughts. There was even someone who admitted they used to roll their eyes at the idea of prayer helping anxiety. They thought it was too simple, too unrealistic. But when they actually tried a structured approach, step by step, something surprising happened. It started to make sense, not as a quick fix, but as a process. And that's the key word, process. Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. Some people in these stories said they begged for peace and didn't feel it right away. Some said they were tired, exhausted, even questioning everything. One person said they had prayed over and over and still felt anxious. So what made the difference? It wasn't perfect faith. It wasn't saying the right words. It wasn't pretending everything was okay. It was persistence combined with surrender. Not the kind of surrender that says, I give up trying, but the kind that says, I stop trying to control everything. There's a huge difference, because anxiety thrives on control. It constantly tries to predict, fix, and manage everything at once. And when life doesn't cooperate, it spirals. Prayer, when done deeply, interrupts that need for control. It's not about escaping reality. It's about releasing the pressure of having to hold everything together on your own. There was also a powerful moment from someone who said something simple but profound. They realized they couldn't feel gratitude and anxiety at the exact same time, so they forced themselves, even in small moments, to focus on something they were thankful for. At first, it felt unnatural, forced, almost fake, but over time, it became easier, and slowly, their anxiety lost some of its grip. Now, combine that with prayer. Instead of only focusing on what's wrong, you begin to include what's still good, even if it's small, even if it's just the fact that you made it through another day. That shift alone can begin to rewire how your mind responds to stress. Another person shared that they had suffered from panic disorder for over 15 years. That's not a short-term struggle. That's a significant portion of a life. And yet they found comfort not just in prayer itself, but in knowing they weren't alone in their experience. That sense of connection matters more than people realize, because anxiety isolates. It convinces you that you're the only one going through it, that no one understands, that you're stuck like this forever. But when you see story after story of people fighting the same battles, something changes. You realize it's not just you, and that alone can bring a sense of relief. So, can prayer really heal anxiety? The honest answer is, it depends on what you expect healing to look like. If you expect instant, permanent relief with no struggle, you might be disappointed. But if you understand healing as a journey, a gradual shift, a process of becoming stronger, calmer, and more grounded over time, then yes, for many people, prayer plays a powerful role. Not because it magically removes every problem, but because it changes how you experience them. It gives you something to hold on to when everything feels unstable. It creates space between you and your thoughts. It reminds you that you're not carrying everything alone. And sometimes that's the beginning of real freedom. If you're in a place right now where anxiety feels overwhelming, where you've tried praying and it doesn't seem to be working, you're not alone. Keep going. Not perfectly, not forcefully, but honestly. Even if all you can say is, I don't know what to do, that's enough to start. And if these stories showed anything, it's that change doesn't always come the way you expect, but it can come. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.